Hello. How's everybody doing tonight? Give me just a second. Can everybody hear me okay? There's Ticia. Aiden. Aiden's my new friend. Aiden's going to paint tonight. It's awesome. Super excited. You're going to like this. This is really cool. You're going to have a lot of fun. Cassie, are you painting with me tonight, Cassie? That's so cool. Can you guys hear me okay? So, let's go over here. Yes. Jeanette, thank you for posting that. That is so cool that you found your new Zen. That's really cool. That really means a lot to me. This is, it's my job. I do this for a living, besides teaching. But, you know, some days when you do it for a living, it's not as fun because sometimes you're just a tool for someone's ideas, which is fine. That's part of work and freelance. But I really like to just sit and paint. And what we're painting tonight, are you ready for this? Let's come over here. Alvarez in the house. Hernandez is in the house too. Actually, Hernandez is in his studio. Ready to paint with you guys. I'm going to give everybody just a few minutes. Everyone to jump on and hang out. And it is Thursday night, April 30th, 2020. And we're going to paint something awesome tonight. So everybody's getting on still. So you could see here we got the colors that we're going to be using tonight. We've got blue, yellow, white, black, and red. Now, these are things that are readily available now. So I don't want to get all crazy and add these different aqua. Like, I love all those colors. If you see my paint collection, it's awesome. It's really neat. But let's face it, not everybody can get those paints. And the paint store that I normally go to in Los Angeles, they are not even open right now. So, oh, my light bulb just went out. Do you guys see that? Anyways, yeah. So anybody who's ordering supplies, I've told you guys to go to Blix. Blix is great, but they're backed up, and that's fine. They're a huge company. I love their supplies. They're great. And I love going into the paint store. When I was at Cal State Fullerton, that was like our place to go to. It was right around the corner from our school, and we'd buy our supplies there. But if you cannot get those paint supplies from Blix or they're back ordered, you guys could do a couple of different things. You could go to Michael's. You can hit the dollar stores for the 8x10 canvases, or you can reach out to Amy and I. So, first off, before I even begin this, I want to give a huge shout out and a big thank you to my wife, my best friend, Amy. Everyone thanks me for these paint sessions, and I appreciate that, but really, I couldn't do this without her support and her help with everything. She's ordering stuff. She's staying up late on her laptop, just browsing, finding the best deals on brushes and kits that we put together for the kids. So she's been really working very, very hard. And on top of that, she's distant learning, which there's a lot of teachers on here right now. I understand. It's new, it stinks, and we really need to be in front of our kids to help them again. So, but I just want to give her a big thank you and let her know I love her for all of her hard work. And she'll be coming in soon to come and say hey, but I'll get her in here the next time to paint with me. So we're just a little burnt out. It's so funny because we're actually busier now than what we were before all this craziness started. And the first few days, I'm not going to lie, I stayed up late watching TV, but now I'm just working around the house. I'm finding tons of stuff to do around here. We're doing projects that have been sitting around forever. But I would really like to finish our third book. and I just don't even have time for that. It's crazy. So, but you know, despite all the busyness, she's still working super hard to try to get kits put together for the kids. We went out and did a drop-off yesterday from about 30 kits that we put together for the kids, and we really appreciate that. So, I'm reading her comments right now. Honestly, this is all a group effort. This is just Amy and Chris Hernandez. There's a lot of people that have been donating funds and helping us out. And if it's not even just funds, there's people buying supplies and shipping them to our house. It's crazy. Like our friend Teresa Santos. Just things are showing up and I'm like, oh, I didn't order this? That's weird. Okay. And then we look and she ordered it for us. So that's awesome. So if you guys have a paint kit tonight and you have the blue brushes and you have those really cool new pellets that aren't the foam paper plates, those are courtesy of Miss Teresa Santos and also my very good friend from Oak Hills High School, Valerie Perkins is awesome. She gave us some funds to help out for the paint kits, paint supplies, and different things, and they're going to get hooked up with some original art from myself, of course. But anyways, this is all a group effort. I can go down the list. There's a huge list of people that are just donating and helping to put all these kits together, you guys. So we truly appreciate that, and we're very grateful. We're extremely grateful. So anyhow, let's see, what time is it? Let's wait about 1 or 2 more minutes. Everyone's still kind of jumping on. I usually wait about 10 minutes into these live paint feeds before. But you're going to need a flat brush. I use a 3/4, but you can use smaller. It doesn't matter. You can use a round brush, which is what we're going to do. You can use a number 6. You can use smaller than a 6. So it's whatever's available. Okay. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit more today. And I want to make sure that everybody understands and is able to paint this properly. And if you don't paint it properly, who cares? You're just having fun. This is fun, you guys. I mean, come on now. I'm not grading you. Well, I can if you want. So we'll do a critique. Just kidding. This is for fun, you guys. Just have fun. Just relax. But before I begin, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know we are painting with acrylic. So you do not want to let your brushes sit with a lot of paint on them. You want to rinse your brushes out as fast as you can or as quick as you can if you're going to switch paints. Make sure there's no paint on where the brush meets the metal. You want to get all that out. You don't want any surprises. You don't want to be painting with white and then all of a sudden a little bit of black paint bleeds into that or red and then you end up with pink or gray. So you want to clean your brushes out really well. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens right now. There we go. Can you guys see this okay? Oh, hold on, I need a backlight. Can you see that all right? Hang on a minute. That's probably good right there. All right. Here's my brushes I'm going to be using tonight. I've got a flat brush right here. This is for doing washes, and I've had these brushes a long time, just so you guys know. I take really good care of my brushes. So brush care, when you guys are done, give me a second here. I want to show you guys something. Hang on, I'm in my studio. Give me 1 second. I use this really cool brush cleaner. I've been using it since I was a kid, since I was able to afford to buy these. But this is this brush cleaner, and it's like a soap. And I've had this one for about a year now. You could just keep using it. But I throw a little bit of water in there, and when I clean my brushes out, I just rinse them around real nice, and then I rinse them out real nice. But this is good brush soap. If you don't have this, you could totally use like hand soap. But what I will stress to you is that you need to make sure that when you're done, you dry these laying down. You never let them sit in a container. You always want to dry them flat. Okay? You want them to keep and retain the shape. Now, here's the other thing I want to talk to you guys about before I go ahead and begin. I got some brushes from Michaels, and they, under any other circumstances, I would have been like, nope, they're going back. But we're so pressed for time and different things right now, I just couldn't return them. But I had about 3 brushes that were smushed and they were bent. And what I mean by that is when I opened them up, they were like bent, crooked like this. So if that happens to your brushes, if you need to reshape your brushes, it's very simple. Okay, you guys ready for this? I want you to remember this, especially after you're done painting. You get a coffee cup, and I don't have one here, but I just have my regular water here. You're going to throw about this much water from your coffee cup into the microwave for about a minute. And when you open the microwave, be very careful you don't burn your hands, but you're going to see steam coming out, and you're going to probably see bubbles. You're going to grab your brush in that super boiling hot water, and you're going to do this. You're going to grab your brush, and you're going to drop it in and pull it up. And you're going to drop it in, and you're going to pull it up. And it will totally take the shape back to what it used to be. And you're going to want to rinse the brush out real good, and then you'll want to reshape it with your fingers, just like this. And you will get your shape back onto your brush, okay? I'm going to give you guys brush tips and different things about paint as much as I can. But right now, everybody's getting things shipped, and I do want you to know that is going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, I mean, what am I going to do? Call them and say, hey, that you shipped 2 brushes that were bent. I want new ones like tomorrow. Yeah, right. It ain't going to happen right now. So make the best of it. And if you need any help with anything, please feel free to reach out, email. In fact, I'm going to put that up here right now so you guys can see that. So our social media, Instagram, ZP Publishing, you guys can message me anytime. My personal email, I'll go ahead and give that to you guys, chris.hernandez367@gmail.com. But seriously, reach out to me if you ever have any art questions or if you're like painting and you hit a bump. If I'm not super busy, I will totally reply to you immediately and I'll help you out. I'll walk you through stuff, okay? Because that's what I'm here to do. Okay, so are you guys ready? Are you sure? Oh, Tiffany Clevenger's here. Yes. Okay, are the black lines gone from here now? Because I had the light on. I had some light on. It was giving me some issues. I have a complete new setup over here, guys. I'm in my studio painting this time around. I got a better Wi-Fi setup. I was painting on the table, but too many people were coming home, and the dogs are barking. And, you know, I'm human too, so it's all good. But it's a little bit of a distraction, and I don't want you guys to hear my dogs screaming at the mail people dropping off stuff. Thank you, Miss Amy. Amy's online, so if you guys have any questions and I don't see them right away, just go ahead and type it in and she'll respond to you. Okay? So, I have this really cool painting right here. Do you guys see that? That's what we're painting tonight. It's called Crimson Sunset, and I packed some blue for some of the kits, for the kiddos. You're probably not going to need a lot of blue. You're probably going to need just a little bit of blue to make that really cool crimson color. So I'm going to teach you how to make a alizarin crimson color with the red. We're probably going to use just a little bit of yellow because we want a little bit of an orange moon, or sunset. I'm sorry, it's not a moon. And that's it. So, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Are you guys ready? Hang on a second. Got my glass of water here. It's a little bit hot. And if I run my air conditioning here, Nicole says it sounds like a giant microwave. So, I'm going to sweat for you guys. Just for you guys only. Here's what I'm going to do. If you notice, there's a circle on there. And I know how everybody feels about my moons and my circles and everything like that. But I'm going to give you a super easy way. And I promise this is the easiest way to paint. You can do it if you think you can paint that sun and paint a circle, go for it. But right now I'm going to teach you guys an easier way. And what I'm going to do is I'm almost going to draw with my round brush. So I'm going to use my round brush here in a second. Probably just a smaller round brush. If you have different round brushes, go for it. But I'm actually going to make a very light gray, and I'm going to draw something to help you out to make this circle first. Don't use black, because when you go to paint over it, you're going to have to layer and layer and layer. Make light gray lines if you're going to have to. Don't use a pencil either. Please don't use a pencil. If you paint white paint over a pencil lead, it's a nightmare. So I'm going to show you my palette here in a second. But I'm just going to put a little bit of black paint and a little bit of white paint on my palette first. This is what I got. Oh, be careful to use very little water with these paints. I get these paints and I customize them for you guys. So if you got a paint kit from Amy and myself, the paint kits or the paints that I order from Blix are really thick, and I knock them down with medium, and I use water. And I want them ready to go for you guys, so you don't have to struggle and water them down. If you use too much water, you'll paint something and you'll notice it's going to start running, and it ends up being a craftastrophe is what we call it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix. Here's my palette right here. I'm just going to mix a little bit of. I'm going to do darker so you guys can see it. I'm going to put this on there. And here's what I'm going to do. This is an 11 by 14 canvas. Let me go ahead and take this off. You guys saw my social media and everything. Okay, so here's my canvas. It's an 11 by 14. I'm going to go down probably to about, I'm going to split this up into fourths or quarters, right? So I'm going to put a line somewhere right here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this with my finger right here, and I'm going to go right across just like this. I'm going to put another little mark right there, and I'm going to go right to the middle, and I'm going to put a mark right there as well. Now I pretty much have the work done for me. Let me make sure this is correct. Nope, needs to go up a little bit higher right here and right here. Okay, so I'm going to paint a line going across. It doesn't have to be perfect or straight. I just want a guesstimated area of where I'm going to put my line. So that's probably good. It's not straight. I don't care, you guys. It's fine. We're going to straighten that out in just a little bit. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing of this is that you're going to get upset and say, Chris, why did you pick something so big that's a circle that we cannot do? I promise you guys. Let me show you how I'm going to do this. Give me just a second. So I'm going to give everybody just a second to do that. Now, I can paint circles, I can draw circles. I was an animation major at Cal State Fullerton, and that's all we did for animation was draw circles. You had to draw hundreds of them a day. But for the average person who doesn't draw circles, this is for you. Are you ready? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a square right here. So I'm going to come over a little bit, and I'm going to put a little mark right here. And I'm going to put a little mark somewhere right here. And I'm going to go over, okay, here's half of the canvas right here. We split this in half. This is the halfway mark, I think, somewhere around here. I'm going to go over just a little bit because my sun's actually going to come out over here. But ultimately, I want to make a big square. Okay. Now, I want my square to dip down a little bit below this line right here because I want to make our sun melting into the ocean down here. So I'm going to do this, and it's going to go right below this. Yeah, there we go. It's a square. Okay, you paint this very light. Very, very light. Like, you should be painting this to where you could barely see it. It should be like that right there on my plate. Do you see that? I'm only painting dark so you guys can see this. Okay, I'm going to get more paint in here. Now, I'm going to split this. Oh, there goes the other light. Oh my gosh. Can you guys still see okay? I had a light bulb just go out. Weird. Anyways, I'm going to split this into quarters. So I'm going to split it right down the center. And right in half right here. If it's not perfect, it's totally fine. There we go. Let there be light. Okay. Does everybody have this here? Hey, Fascinato. God, I miss my work friends. I really do. I miss them a lot. I know you guys do too. Okay, everybody did this. Now, all you have to do is this. You're going to go here, like that. Now, the reason why I put this box up here is because now I'm forced to put my circle and constrain it into this box that I just made. If it has to go out a little bit so it looks good, totally fine. I went out of my circle a little bit, but it's totally fine. I'd rather you guys put up this box than struggle and get upset with me that I didn't teach you guys how to paint a circle. But this is the best way. Just split it in half, quarter it, and then this is your negative space right here. Okay? Don't worry about the bottom. The bottom doesn't matter because we're going to cover that up. Okay? Once you get past this monster, we're ready to fly. So I'm going to rinse my brush out. I'll give you guys a second to get caught up with that. So what's for dinner, guys? Give me some ideas. Well, we already have dinner planned, but I just like to see your guys' food. All right, I'll give you another second or two. This really is going to be a gorgeous piece. I love the oranges and the reds and the crimson colors with the blacks. They're just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I'm super excited to paint this with you guys. Vegetarian lasagna, that sounds good. Oh, that's my wife. That's Amy. Yeah, we're having vegetarian lasagna. Chicken katsu with roasted green beans. Ooh, I had roasted green beans the other day. Spaghetti. Yes. Ceviche. Oh, don't tease me now. Come on. Oh. Oh, please don't do that to me now. Fish. Cream potato bake. Oh. I haven't had fish in a while. Salmon. Tilapia. Beer battered fish. That's what I like. Hello, Kim. Kim Thompson. I love Kim. Kim was Jack's kindergarten teacher. And it was because of her and Jack's kindergarten class I got my second title, which is Mr. Chris to all the little ones. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. The first thing that I want to do is I want to paint the sky back here. Okay, this is going to be fun. Are you guys ready? Now, I'm going to use my flat brush right here. See this paint that I have on here already? I'm going to use different values. Now, when I say values, that means I'm using different tones. Don't go too dark. Try to paint with this from light to dark. And here's what I'm going to do. Here's my paint swatch that I have right here. I actually ultimately want to have these corners darker. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint X's. You guys can paint whatever you like. Biology, yum. Here I'm going to keep going. I'm going to add different color variations. Now, what I want to do with this sky, and you guys know I do this all the time, I want to create movement. So I'm going to add different patterns. Now watch this. When I get to where my circle was at, I'm actually going to paint around this very gently, just like this, and then I'm going to go back over here. You got to make these sound effects when you're painting too, otherwise it's not fun. Come on now. Oh, that's going on. Sorry, I'm texting one of my students to hurry up. Get your butt back on the YouTube. Let's go. So I'm going to add some more white. Now remember, these are soft body acrylics. If you have heavy body acrylics and they come out like toothpaste, that's fine. You just got to knock them down just a little bit. You want to paint in thin layers. You don't want to goop it on there. This is called the awkward stage when we paint. And you guys have to just remember, when you're painting, you have to move past that and say, okay, it's going to look a little weird for about 20 or 30 minutes. It's no big deal. It's going to happen. Okay, here's my palette. I'm just mixing up some different colors. And I'm going to go attack this area right up here. And I'm going to cover up that little area that I made. This is the part where you get to find out what your paints can and can't do for you. You could probably see that right there. That's completely normal, 100%. That's the awkward stage. Remember, we're painting with acrylics. They have to be layered. If you have a steady hand, awesome. I applaud you with my right hand, not my left hand, because I'm painting right now. But you'll want to start layering paint over those lines that you just made. But you don't want to see these lines. So once you make a line like this, you're going to want to throw some crisscross action in there. And I'm not talking about the band from the 90s. This, never mind. You guys won't get that. And paint the sides of your piece if you have a gallery wrap type canvas, because these are ready to hang. Don't worry about this area right here. I did paint this, but I'm going to paint a rock right over this. I don't know if you guys can see this part right here. Boom, right there. We're putting a rock right there. So don't worry too much about this area right here. And remember, don't be overly picky with your sky, because we're going to have a big tree that's going to be going right through the middle. We're going to have some clouds. So I want you guys just to have fun with this, okay? Now, it's pretty warm in my studio right now. I don't run my air condition while I'm live because it's kind of noisy. Nicole Hunsacker says it sounds like a giant microwave, and I agree. But it keeps me cool. But my paints are going to dry fairly quick. So here's one layer here. I like that. Yes, Emma. Not only did I clean my hands, I work on my truck too. I work on my truck a lot. It's my dad's truck. But there's a lot of 40-year-old motor oil in my dad's truck, and it tends to get into my nails and different things like that. But I have mechanic hands too. When I'm not painting, I'm underneath transmissions and dropping oil and fluid and changing out brakes and different things like that. So I like doing those things. But I have mechanic hands, and I cleaned them, kind of. They're still a little, I don't know. Anyways, also, if you look at your painting and you see that it's a little shiny, don't touch it. It's probably still wet. Let it dry. This is still wet right here. If I were to paint over this right now, the paint would actually pull off the canvas. I don't want to do that. I want the acrylic to bond to the canvas. So I'm going to keep painting the sides a little bit. I can look to the side and see that this is dry. Don't ever stick your finger on there either. Get the back of your finger, touch it gently. There's paint on my finger. That's still wet. So I'm going to work my way around and just look and say, okay, well, this is good right up here. So I'm going to add some more X's, painting in X's, just like this. I'm going to throw in this right here. I'm going to dip the corner of my brush just like that. Watch this effect. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even mean to do that. It just happened. God. Nice. I guess the person who says things like I do about their own paintings are the same people that laugh at their own jokes. Guilty. I laugh at my own jokes all day. Because they're good. Because they came from me. So watch this. I'm still painting in X's. You can paint in these types of directions. You can paint in X's. You could do whatever you like. But what we're doing here is we're creating movement. Movement is a design element. You'll notice a lot of the post-impressionist painters made brush marks that were like hatches or brush marks, but what they ultimately did was they created movement in their pieces. Hi, Emma. Emma, you better paint good. You can put paint all over your hands later on too, like Mr. Chris, see? I want to see paint all over your hands. Just going to keep painting, adding layers. Now, think of acrylic paint as like thin sheets of plastic being laid on top of each other. I'm going to add some up here in the upper corner, right up here. Now, if your brush is pulling while you're painting, leave the piece alone. It's drying. Your brush should be gliding across the canvas while you're painting. If it's not, it means you got to give your piece some time to dry. So look at this. I'm going to add some whites in certain areas. If you're painting and your white is turning gray, that means you're blending and you need to chill out and just let your piece dry a little bit. So I'm going to go over here. Add some paint right up here. How's everyone doing? Good? I'll give you guys a minute for this. Now, no pun intended, the sky's the limit. You guys can make your sky however you want. Okay, but do you see where I'm getting at now? Now I have this circle. Look at that fun fact from Amy. Did you know that red sunsets happen as a result of aerosis collecting in our atmosphere? I did know that because I'm married to a science teacher. But she's also married to a pirate, so we always say, red skies in the morning, sailor take warning. Red skies at night, sailor's delight. All right. Paint a little bit. Remember, this is going to be covered up with the rock. Don't worry about that. So I'm going to go over here. Oop, that's a little bit dark. I like it. I'm going to run with it. Put some dark right up here.
Aerosols.
Aerosols. What did I say?
Aerosis.
I did not say aerosis.
No, it's on video, so you can take it back.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Aerosis. Tomato. Does it really matter? Oh, gosh. This is coming along. Don't worry about this right here. This is going to be gone. Focus on this. Relax. Get some movement in there. Now I'm going to start incorporating some dark. I'm going to dip a little bit of black in here. Ooh, look at that. Now remember, if you do too dark, don't worry about it. Just leave it. If it's too dark, you can totally paint over it. Now I'm getting a little bit sticky. If you're getting a little bit sticky on the brush, you're going to want to get a little bit of water, just a little bit. I'm dipping about just a smidge of water in that, okay? And I'm going to run it through my paints once again. There, roses. Good gosh. And look at this. I like that. That's cool. Now, remember this, when you're painting, try to keep the same consistency in your pattern. Don't start doing crisscross or X's right here, and then you go to straight lines over there. Okay, wouldn't really make too much sense. This is really cool. I enjoy this. I just want to let you guys know we got a lot of community involved. We got Apple Valley people, which is where we're from. We have Hesperians. Is that a term, Hesperian? I'm an Angelino, so I like that term. But I'm from Apple Valley now. This is my home. Los Angeles was years ago. Still like to go back and visit, but honestly, the high desert is my home now. We have Victorville. We've got people in Riverside painting along with us. Barstow. That's really cool. We appreciate that. We appreciate you guys supporting and painting along. All right. I want to get rid of that right there. I'm not super hip on that. It's all right. I'm going to create movement still. I'm going to go up in this direction right here. But I think I still want that a little bit lighter. Here comes some white paint. Remember, guys, the more layers on these paintings, the better it's going to look. The masters used to paint what's called an underpainting on their pieces. They would actually use earth tones, browns, burnt siennas, burnt umbers, yellow ochres. They would use these colors on their paintings, and it would create a ton of depth. So what I'm getting at is the more layers you have on these pieces, the cooler it's going to look. It's going to look like we're creating a lot of depth right here. It's going to look like we're creating some cool movement. I like this. I'm not going to mess with this too much more. I've got a few layers of paint on here I like. I'm good with that. Are you guys good with yours? You could always go back, and if you want to throw some darkers up here, like here, I'm going to throw some darkers up here. Check this out. I'm going to dip the corner of my brush just like that. That's too much. Like that. I just want to put a little bit in the corners to give it that vignette type of look. Right up here, right up here. And if it's too dark, you could always go back and paint over it. I like that right there. I'm going to go over that in just a second, but I'm going to do a little bit of that here, probably at the bottom right here. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush. Watch this, right up here, watch this. I'm going to knock some of that down. That's cool, I like that. Right up here. Just try to be consistent. That's the best thing. Just be consistent with your piece, no matter what you do. When you're painting too, and you make a mistake, I know what Bob Ross says. I don't have to say it. But if you make a mistake and it ends up being something cool that you like, and it's all of a sudden turned from like, oh no, to like, yeah, I meant to do that. Make sure there's other elements in your piece that have that, so it doesn't look like it was just an accident, okay? So that's something I've always done too, is like, well, have an explanation for your boo-boo. Is it really a boo-boo? Was it a happy accident, or was it planned? This is cool. I like this. I like where I'm going with this. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Now I'm going to add some whites up here. This is pretty dry. I just want a little bit of some pure white. I just want to add a couple little, but I want them to go in this direction. I want it to look like it's going in a circle. Remember, when you read a composition, like a painting, when you go to a gallery, we read paintings and analyze them the same way that we analyze and read essays. We read from left to right, top to bottom. It's the same thing with a composition. When you see a painting, you should always start with the left to the right and you should work your way down. The star of the show of these paintings should always be on the right side. It should never be on the left side. What happens if you have your star of the show here and not there, the viewer comes in, looks at it, and goes bloop right off the page. And you don't want to do that. You want to have the star of your show, which is this crimson sunset here. So you go in, and we're going to settle down and look at all this. And we're going to have other elements to support it. Okay, I'm going to throw a little bit more white in here. Now, when you paint these marks that I'm making, you're not going to push down really hard. You're going to barely brush over, just like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm barely brushing over. I'm putting these brush marks on. That's cool looking. I'm going to let that dry up a minute. I'm going to come over here on this side. This is a little bit sticky. I'm not going to touch that anymore. Made a mistake. I should not have done that, but that's all right. Come right over here. This is really nice. I like it already. I could see with the whole picture. That's why. I know what's going on. Did you guys like the Harry Potter piece last week? That was rad. We had a ton of kids painting along. Like over 120 kids painting along. It was rad. This is dried up. I'm going to add a little bit more right here. So I'm going to put my rock right over here. So this is pure white. I want to throw a little bit more white. Watch this. See that? Just did whatever. I'm going to throw a little bit of that right here. That was not planned. I just did it. Pure white. A little bit right there. Creating like an abstract type sky. And I'm going to do a little bit of that right up here. Watch this. Right up here. That's cool looking. I don't even want to touch that anymore. That looks really good. I like that. This is very organic is what we call it. I'm giving you guys terms. I'm giving you guys different things to really think about. In the art world, this is what we call organic. It just happened. It wasn't planned. The box we made was planned. The circle we made was planned. This was not planned. We just let it happen. It's called organic. I love it. All right. Now, we're not going to jump to the crimson yet. Since we have the color out, we're going to paint this ocean scene down here. Now, what you'll want to do is I want everyone to rinse their brush out. Please don't use the same paint on your brush to paint this. I want clean brushes. So I'm going to grab my brush. I'm going to paint the bottom of my cup, and I'm going to switch the brush around, back and forth. See all that paint right there? I don't want that on there. That's why brushes get ruined, is because you let the paint build up. We call that the belly of the brush. We want to get all that paint out of there. Okay, and this is what you'll want to do. You'll want to rim the brush just like this. Okay, give it another rinse. Don't smush the brush. Act like you're painting the bottom of the cup. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to grab my paper towel. I want you to do this with your paper towel. Push that way and push this way. And most of that paint is out. Okay. That's done. I'm going to leave that alone. Are you guys good with yours? I'll give you about another, 30 seconds or so to keep working on that. Once you get to a point, though, you have to be happy with your piece. You can't beat it up. You need to give it a break, and you need to just say, look, this is cool. I'm happy with it. It's not even the star of the show. I got to move on. Okay? Acceptance. It's called the art of acceptance. My good friend that works at Disney, Mark McDonald, him and I had talked one day. We were at Comic-Con just hanging out, and I said, how do you do this, this, and that? And we were talking about certain things like this. And he said, it's called the art of acceptance. There's two things you need to realize as an artist. There's the art of acceptance and the art of letting go. And that doesn't mean get rid of your piece, you're saying goodbye to it. That just means you have to just separate yourself and say, I'm done. I need to move on. I have other stuff to work on with this. Accept it. Have fun with it. You are your own worst critic, and you need to chill out. Just hang out. Just have fun with it. Accept it for what it is, and have fun with the rest of the piece. Okay? That's my best advice. Okay. Everybody's done with that. Let's work on the ocean. So I'm going to add some more white paint. God, this is fun. Are you guys having fun? This is so cool. Flat brush. Now look at the shape of my brush. It's nice and flat. It's cleaned. There's no paint. This is where you want to watch the paint. If you get a paint buildup right there, you'll want to clean that out later on. You don't want to do it now. Don't worry about cleaning your supplies right now. Just have fun. You can acrylic paint, if you drop it on the ground, leave it. Don't wipe it up. If it's tile floor, leave it. It'll dry. If it's carpet, you're in trouble. Get it out right away. But if it lands on your table, if it lands on the tile floor, if it lands on anything that is a hard surface, it'll peel right off once it dries. So here's what I'm going to do next. I have some more white paint, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix up a little bit of a gray mixture. Check out how I do this. Watch this. Here's some gray paint right here. Okay, watch how I do this. I'm going to grab a corner of that black. See that on there? I'm going to go from here to here Watch what I do. See those streaks in there? I'm going to straighten them out in a minute. But it's because I put different variations of tones on the brush. And I'm going to go and do that again. I'm going to grab, it's a little dark, I'm going to lighten it up. Now I'm going to use a little bit of that grayish mixture and I'm going to overlap it just a little bit. Don't go right up against that line. If you go right up against that line right there, you'll see it. While it's wet, you'll want to overlap it. Here's what I'm doing. I'm putting my finger down like this, my pinky, to brace myself. I'm going to go across, I'm going to overlap that. Just like that. I have some wavy lines right there. Watch what I do. While it's wet, I'm going to go and straighten them out. Just like that. I'm not worried about that right there. I can fix that with my orange. I'm more concerned about this right here being straight, right there, and a little bit right here. Remember, we're going to have a big tree coming right through here. Don't worry about this if it's a little crooked. We have a rock coming down right here, and we have a tree coming down. So if this is not completely straight, don't worry about it. I promise. It's all good. And I'm going to keep working my way down. Now watch what I do. I'm going to grab the same mixture, and I'm going to slow down a little bit. I want you guys to catch up. I'm going to grab a little bit of that black. Now, instead of having the black going down this way, I want it to go back this way. Now watch this. I'm going to paint right over. I'm going to overlap. It's a little bit crooked. I want to fix that. I'm painting in an awkward position, just so you guys know. I want to see all these lines, all these variations. Now, right here, remember this too. If this is not perfect, don't worry, because guess what? We're going to have the reflection of the sun coming right through here too. So that's why you need to relax. If it doesn't look good right here, don't worry about it. Remember, we have a tree coming through here. We have a rock coming down. We have a reflection coming down right through here. No one's going to see any of your boo-boos right here. We have some clouds that are going to be up here, so don't worry about it. In other words, these other elements in this composition are going to cover a multitude of sins, so don't worry about that. And while this is wet, I'm going to go ahead and grab some more white. Now I'm going to switch it around, and I'm going to switch the white, more dominant part of the white right here, and I'm going to go right across. Now remember, if you're not happy with these streaks, I'm going to lift my canvas up a little bit so you guys can see this. If you're not happy, remember this is just the first layer. You can layer this if you want. I'm not super concerned about this. Remember, the rock is going to come right down here. We have a tree coming right through here. I'm more concerned about this area right here. And a little bit of this right here. Okay? Don't be tempted to go back and touch anything up here either. Leave that alone. That's out of bounds. Leave that alone. Be happy with it. Paint your sides. I got a little bit of stuff that's not straightened out right there. A little bit right here. You know, I'm honestly going to leave that. I'm going to put another layer, but it's not because I'm bothered by the crookedness. I just want more depth to this piece. So this is pretty dry. I see a little piece up there. Now, if you see anything bugging you up here, like I painted darker so you guys could see it, but I'm going to cover this up. If it really bugs me, I might go over it later. This is dry, so you can rub your finger over this gently. Remember, the side of your finger or the back. You never want to stick your finger on it like that. I didn't touch it, by the way. But you don't want a thumbprint or a fingerprint on your piece. Just use the back of your finger or the side. Go over it gently, and you could see how acrylic feels when it's dry and when it's wet. Okay, and you could see that. I touched the painting a little bit. Oh, you guys, I always drink a little bit of the water just to let you guys... I don't know if I'm going to drink it tonight. Shouldn't drink your water. Now, I've been painting a while. I want to get this off my brush, so I'm going to rinse my brush out. Even though I'm still going to paint with the same color, as I'm painting and talking to you guys, that paint is actually drying up on my brush. I don't know if I like that. Okay, so I'm going to rinse my brush out, and I always want fresh paint on there. Now, the next time we make paint kits for you guys, the next time we do that, we are going to include spray bottles because right now it's hot. This is my spray bottle. I've had this spray bottle since 2007. I've had this since I was at Cal State Fullerton in the illustration department. These spray bottles are a couple of dollars. We can find them at the dollar store in a 2-pack. But while it's hot, this is what I do. I spray a little bit of water, just a little bit, because my acrylic paint, you can see, is starting to harden. So I'm going to add a little bit of a spray on my canvas right there. Take care of your supplies. They'll last forever, I promise. Let me show you a brush here. You see this brush right here? I bought this brush in 2005, 2006. Look at it. Look where it's from. It's from France. I've had this brush for a really long time, and look at it. It looks like it's only a year or two old. I bought this in 2004, 2005 or so. I take really good care of my brushes. I take great care of them. Here's another one. Okay, these are very expensive brushes. Here's a brush that wasn't expensive. I paid $5 for this while I was at Fullerton. And it still works amazing. So whether it's a $5 brush or a $50 brush, as long as you take care of it, it'll work good for you and it'll take care of you and it'll be your best friend. I got lots of brushes. I have tons of brushes. Okay, so this is all dry. I'm going to add a second layer. Just for the heck of it. One more layer, I promise. And then we're going to move on. Okay, I got some more white right here. And I'm going to add a little bit of black in the corner. Just like this. Watch this. I'm going to go across right here this time. I'm going to flip my brush around to blend it. Remember, don't worry about this right here. This is going to be covered up. I just want to be straight right here. I like that. That's cool. See this pattern I have? I don't want too much of that pattern. I don't want repetition in my piece. So I'm going to just blend over a little bit of that with some white. But don't paint like this. Go all the way across and make one movement, just like that. If you paint like this, you're more susceptible to make a mistake. If you just dive in and do it, you're good, I promise. I like this right here. I might add a little bit more before I move on to a different color. I'm adding water, by the way. It's kind of getting a little bit warm in here. The more... See how I'm doing this? Look what it's creating. That's rad. And then I want to stop. I don't want to overblend it. Please don't overblend. I think I'm done with this color. I'm going to rinse my brush out. Get that paint out. And remember the paper towel? Sideways. Don't dry it off like this. Sideways. Because I want to push that paint out right there. That's the part where the paint collects the most. I don't like that. That's the belly of the brush. We don't want bellies on our brush. Nice. It's good. That's drying up. I think I'm ready for the next step. Are you guys ready? We're going to dive into making the really cool sun right here. I'm getting used to this still. I'm going to make the sun. I'm going to be using red, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of blue. So you guys ready? Okay, that's all dried up. Now, this is cool because this is all dried up, so we paint over this with our new color. It's completely dried up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some red. Now, there's so many different colors of red. Right now, we're not going to worry about that. If you have red, whether it's cadmium red, whether it's pyro red, or primary red, it really doesn't matter. It's whatever you guys can get. I'm going to add some red down here. A decent amount because I'm also going to use that same part to make the reflection. Here's what I'm putting on my palette. Notice I'm keeping them away from each other. Okay. I'm going to add some yellow. I'm going to paint from light to dark. I want a little bit of an orange red. So I'm adding some yellow. Ketchup and mustard together. I'm going to be using my flat brush. Okay, someone said, oh, hang on a minute. I'm going to give you guys just a minute to catch up because you guys are probably trying to refine all this. Okay, does everybody have something like this so far? If not, start asking me questions. I will totally help you out, guys. I want you guys to have fun. This is fun, but just because it's fun doesn't mean it has to be whatever. You want the finished product to be something you're proud of. So I got my paint out. I'm waiting for you guys. We're good. We're not in a hurry, I promise. Well, I'm in a hurry. I gotta work in the morning. Just kidding, I don't. I don't have to work till September or October, so this is my work. This is fun work right here. Installer 23, who is that? Because I want to help you out. I don't want to rush this either. We got plenty of time, you guys. So if you need any help, I don't want to rush through this. And if you could watch the video later, you can always fast forward. You could go through it, whatever. But if I'm doing these live, I want to help everybody out who took the time to paint live with me. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes because this was honestly one of the hardest parts. The most rewarding part is when we paint this right here. This is going to be a lot of fun. I don't want anybody to not have fun with this. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes. My painting's all completely dry, by the way. So I'm going to give you guys about 2 or 3 more minutes to catch up, okay? If you need any help, just pop in the comment section and ask me a question. Amy's watching too. Amy has been quite the painter since she's been married to me. So if you have any questions, either I will help you or she will help you. So just type your question and we'll totally help you out. But this is where I'm at right now. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes, okay? Installer 23, Caesar. Why did I not know that? Caesar is a very good friend of mine. He was one of my first supervisors when I worked at Best Buy. I have to tell you, I worked at Disneyland a long time ago, back in the day. Let me pull one of my badges down. Disneyland was the coolest job I ever worked. I loved Disneyland. It was so fun to work there. But when I got a job at Best Buy, I had a lot of fun working there. They became my family, so I still talk to a lot of them. But Caesar was one of my first supervisors. I was very intimidated working at an appliance store like that, but I did really well. I had a lot of fun. And you know what? Those essential employees, they're still working right now. And I give them a lot of credit for going in knowing that, hey, I'm kind of risking my health right now going in, but they're still doing it for us. So we need to thank them and be nice to them. Do what we can to help these folks out. How's everybody else doing? Perla wants to know what I did at Disney. Well, look at me. Have you ever seen my picture? I played Peter Pan. Just kidding. I didn't play Peter Pan. I always told everyone that because they said, oh, you look like Peter Pan. I worked at Carnation Cafe on Main Street. So I worked for Main Street Restaurants. I worked at the Carnation Cafe, which used to be the Carnation Ice Cream Parlor, and I worked at Coke Corner. It was a lot of fun. I love that. I used to get off work and just change into my regular clothes and go back in the park, hang out with my friends. It's a lot of fun. Boy, I got some stories about things that happened after hours at Disneyland. Ooh, spooky stuff. Mary, where'd your husband work? I worked at Disneyland from 1996 to 1997. It was just a seasonal job, but it was super cool. I loved it. All right. Are you guys ready? Are you good? Look at this. I created this cool dry brush effect. Too bad the tree's going to be covering that up, but that's really cool. Remember, anything that you guys make, any marks that you make, just leave them. They're cool. I'm spraying my canvas down. It's pretty warm in here. In fact, I'm going to crack the door a little bit. Give me a second. I'm in my studio right now. Ugh. Hello, Amy. Do you want to say hi to everybody?
Sure. Hey, guys.
Everybody's taking a little bit of a break because they're trying to get all this done. We're talking about Disneyland. That's cool.
Chris actually proposed to me at Disneyland right in front of the Walt Disney statue.
I did. Uncle Walt is my hero. He was like, everybody has their first hero, whether it's a sports figure or something. But my hero growing up, my very first hero ever was Walt Disney. Walter Elias Disney. And I remember reading a biography on him when I was like 6, 7 years old. And then the first time I went to Disneyland and saw the artists working, I knew I wanted to be part of something awesome like that.
Hi, Jeanette. How are you? She said hi.
Yeah. What's up, Jeanette? Jeanette's, I love that Jeanette's, I painted a really cool piece with Jeanette and the Sultana staff a couple years ago. It was really cool, but I think it's cool that every time my takeaway from these paint parties, everyone has a takeaway from me, but I have a takeaway from them. And that is I get to meet a new friend. And I get somebody that gets to hang out and message me and ask me for art questions. And Jeanette's a teacher too, and teachers rock. Teachers are awesome. I'm a teacher too, but these teachers right now they're dealing with a lot. This distance learning thing is super crazy. But all right, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I'll tell you what I want to do before. Hang on a second. What's that?
Did you need something?
Yeah. Could you get me some more ice for my water, please?
Mm-hmm.
Or Gatorade, whatever's in there. Okay. So, I want this cool glow outside of my sun right here. So, I already sprayed my can. I'm going to spray it again. It's warm in here. Normally I have the air on, but like I said, it sounds like a giant microwave. I want this lighter on the outside of this. So, I just sprayed my canvas. I want a little bit of white paint. Watch this. A little bit of white paint. Okay? And I want to very carefully go around my circle that I just created. It doesn't matter how you do it, just go around it. Watch this.
There you go, Mr. Chris.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have this gradient. When I explain gradient to my students, gradient, the first 4 letters of gradient is grad, like gradual. Like I want to gradually go from dark to light, back to dark again, but I want to go ultimately to light right here. So I want to create a sort of a gradient effect. I'm going to add some more white in here. And watch how I do this. I'm going to brush this out, almost like I'm feathering out the paint, just around this circle that we created, because my sun is going to go right there. And I want this almost glow to come out from it. Please don't paint this right away with the color we're about to put on, because it'll blend in, it'll mix up. We don't want to do that right now. Add a little bit more white, pure white. Don't mix it up, just add some pure white to it. And just brush it out, almost like you're feathering it out. That's cool, I like that. I always make circles in front of, you know who gets it the best and who loves it? My seniors and juniors at Oak Hills High School. I'm rinsing my brush out right now, by the way. They always call me out. Mr. Hernandez, make a perfect circle. Well, I can't make a perfect circle. Well, do it. So I'll go to the dry erase board. They'll all pull out their phones out, put me in their Snapchat, and I'll go over the board like this, and then I'll lay my marker down. And the whole class is just in awe, like they just witnessed some phenomenon or something, but they love it. It's really cool. What I tell them is that when I started at Cal State Fullerton as an animation major, my professor who worked for Disney, Brian not Cantley, Brian, oh gosh, what was his name now? I got the wrong Brian. He made us draw 500 circles a night for homework. 500. So one day I decided, he's not going to know. I was tired, I was working part-time and going to school full-time. I decided I was going to be a little dishonest with the professor. Instead of 500 circles, I made like 350. Whatever. He's not going to know the difference, right? He's going around the room giving everybody credit. And he walks up to mine. He says, let me see him. And I showed him my circles, and he counted them. I said, you know what? It's not 500. It's like 460, 470. I'm sorry. He counted them in his head really quick and said, nice try. You have 350, 360 circles. And I almost fell over on the ground. I said, oh my gosh. He said, I'm giving you a C minus right now on your assignment. So don't pull that again with me. I'm not stupid. I've been doing this for 15 years. I was like, oh my gosh. Wow. So I was really upset. I looked him up later on Internet Movie Database. I Google searched him to see like who this guy was. Turns out he worked on Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Princess and the Frog, The Lion King, and I realized, all right, you need to listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. Okay, are you ready? This is all dry. I got my white circle around here. I want this to be dry before I start painting anything on it. I don't want to paint any of the crimson color on this if it's wet. It's still a little bit wet right here. It'll dry up in just a second. We're going to use our flat brush. Okay. I have the ketchup and mustard right here. I feel like the Best Friend hot dogs. You guys remember the Best Friend hot dogs? Those were so good. I'm going to mix. I'm going to go from light to dark with this one. So I'm going to mix right here this sort of orangish color. I put my finger in the black. Yeah, I like that right there. Okay, I don't want a bunch of paint on here like this. Sloppy. I want to palette my brush, and I want still a nice straight edge on that because I'm going to reshape the sun right now. Are you ready? I'm going to turn my canvas. I don't know if you, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to turn it a little bit this way. It's a little bit awkward for me to paint like this, but don't go below this line right here. Okay? I'm going to hold my brush this way. I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed, you can hold it this way. You can put your finger down almost like a guide so you can pivot when you're making your circle. Okay? Right here, I've got my finger planted on the canvas just like this. And I'm going to go from here. Remember that line we drew in? I'm going to go ahead and start putting this in. You see how it needs to be layered? Look at that right there. See that? But my concern right now is I want to make sure that I've got the shape of this thing down. I want the basic shape of this in first before I focus on the center. If you need to reshape it, you can, but what I want to do is whatever's left on the brush, I want to start painting, and I want to paint directionally. I don't want to just slop the paint on there. I want to paint in a circular motion this way. That's going to be covered up a lot, but we're going to get there. It's just going to have to be layered and layered and layered. Oh boy, I splattered some red on there. Well, guess what? I'm going to leave it. That's the mentality you need to have when you're painting things like this. You need to think, oh, Oh wait, I'm going to paint red over that. It doesn't matter. What I might do though is get another brush, and I might take this off so it's not clumpy, just like that, and then rinse this brush out immediately. And I'm going to leave that right there. I'm then going to fix that because remember, we're going to have the reflection, so it really doesn't bug me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm going to do directional painting. Don't put too much paint or you're going to have the same boo-boo that I had. And you're going to paint in this direction, just like this. You don't want to paint X's anymore. We want to paint in the direction of the sphere that we're making. This is where you can practice how to make straight lines with your flat brush. You get your flat brush, and you're going to go right across, just like that. That needs to be covered up. It's going to have to be layered. It's totally fine. Now remember, I painted darker so you guys could see that. I told you to paint lighter. If you painted lighter, you shouldn't have it as bad like that. But remember, this does have to be layered. Okay, and once you're done painting that, there's nothing you can do right now. You have to let that dry up. So rather than sit there and watch paint dry, which is always fun, and of course you guys all have time to watch paint dry right now, right? No, I don't care what's going on. Nobody's got time for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add my reflection on here right now. By the time I'm done with my reflection, this should be dry and ready for a second layer of paint. Now, I don't add black to my paints to dry them or to darken them. I add their complementary colors. In this case, I'm going to add a little bit of blue to my red to darken it. I'm going to add it right up here on my palette. Here's my palette. If you guys are painting along with me, I'm going to throw a little bit of blue right there. Don't add too much or it'll look like purple. Okay, I'm going to wipe off. I'm not going to rinse out. I'm going to wipe off the paint on my brush. I'm going to grab some red and add a little bit of blue. And if you look, it's already darkened. Look at this. There's regular red. There's with adding the blue. I'm going to add a little bit more blue. Look at that. It's getting darker. Okay. I'm going to put that in right here now. Watch this. Just like that. And you want to go in this circular motion. Now you can see how that darkened it. Now with that same color I just made, watch this. Are you ready? I'm going to paint the reflection starting with the dark, and we're going to go to light here in a second. I'm going to turn this way a minute so that I can paint here. I want you to go along this line right here with the darker, and it's going to be half on this side and the other half is going to be this lighter color, okay? I'm going to go here. Now watch how I do this. I'm going to let the brush do all the work. I'm going to do a couple lines like that. And I'm going to go a little bit across. Now you want the brush flat. Brush is flat, it's going to make a nice straight line like this. But I want to stretch it across just a little bit here. Okay, see how I'm doing that? And it's going to get smaller and smaller as it comes towards us. It's going to be the biggest and darkest right here. it's going to lighten up a lot right up here. Okay? While that's doing that, I'm going to go back with this darker color. And I'm going to add some more right up here. Now, if you want to reshape your sun, turn your brush sideways. Okay, so we're not painting with flat, we're painting with the side now. And you could actually go from here down like this and paint with a nice straight line. And I like that. I'm good with that. And once you get a nice line, leave it. Don't touch it anymore. Just leave it. Okay? Now, keep in mind, don't worry about this. This is going to be covered with that tree. I'm trying to cover up these lines right here. Remember, I just added some blue. Don't go darker on this side because we want to add more of this lighter color on this side and the darker on this side. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a minute to do this, but look how this is coming together now. I'm going to give you a minute, so I'm going to rinse out my brush. If you have to use the bathroom or get up to get food or something, please don't let that paint sit on your brush like that. Rinse it out. Okay. My brush is good. It's cleaned out real good. This is going to dry right here. I want that to dry so I can add another layer of that. How's everybody doing? Yeah, this is drawing. You know, when you paint with oils, this piece that we're painting right now, that we're going to paint in just a couple of hours, would probably be about 2 or 3 days with oils because of the drying factor. But because it's acrylic, we have the freedom to move forward because it's all dried up. It's all ready to go. This is still wet. I'm going to give it another couple minutes. You guys aren't in a hurry, so I've done paint parties before where someone said, hey, we got to move fast, and I tell them, you came to the wrong party, honey, because we were here to relax and hang out. We're not here to, not paint. We want to paint, but we're not here to just finish something up really fast. This is not an hour painting. It's a couple of hours. And guess what? It'll be the best 2 hours of your week, I promise. How's everybody doing out there? You could type in the comments. I'm taking a little short break. Also, put your brush down every so often. Stand up and stretch. Go use the bathroom. Go get a drink. Take a bite of your food. This is not a chore. Once you treat it like a chore, and you have to get it done a certain way, it's no longer fun. It just becomes another thing you have to do in your week. Okay? I don't want anybody to do that right now. We're all here to have fun. I've got a lot of kids watching. I want to give a shout out to all the Crystal Comets out there. I got a ton of Crystal Comet kids out there painting with us. And a big bark out, of course, to some of my Oak Hills High School Bulldogs that are painting along with me. Guys, this is fun. Just have fun. If your painting comes out not the way you wanted it to, just have fun. If this is your first time painting and it's not amazing, smile, laugh at it. Have fun with it. Okay? I'm going to add more paint. This is dry. So I'm going to go ahead and start layering some more. But I'm going to go lighter. And when I mean lighter, I mean look at this. It's like way lighter. I'm going to add some more yellows to this. I'm going to start adding some more dark on this side. I just want to get rid of those crosshairs I made for you guys. I sacrificed. I took one for the team. I wanted to do something to show you guys how to paint circles easier. And hopefully it taught you guys how to do that. Because now I got to layer and layer, but it's totally fine. Remember, the more colors you put on this, the better. Yeah, Mariana. It's awesome. If your son is small, it's okay. I had a small son, but he grew up. He's 12 years old now. Just kidding, that was a joke. That's going to dry a little bit. And while that's out, I'm going to wipe off this paint. I'm going to add some darker paint again. And I'm going to go back and revisit this and throw another layer down there just like this. All I'm doing is going over what I already made. Just like that. Hey, Emma. Emma, Mr. Chris's hands are getting full of paint again. What are you going to do about that? Huh? That's what I thought, Emma. You see this color we made right here? Remember how you made that, because that's what we're going to do for the clouds. I'm going to make crimson. I'm going to teach you how to make alizarin crimson. But look at this. It goes bigger. It's like a little funnel, and it gets smaller and smaller. And what I might do too is I'm going to add a little bit away. So come over here and add a little bit, like right there, like away from it. Just like that. You guys having fun? Sorry, I'm getting water in my studio. Some ice water. I'm a little impatient, so I have a secret weapon I brought with me today. Most of you guys have this laying around at home with your acrylic painting. This is a must. It's pretty cool. Emma says she's going to send me a scrubber. I would love a scrubber, Emma. I would never turn down free scrubbers or cleaning devices or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to add some more. I made this really cool orange on here. I'm going to go ahead and add some more. To this. Because I want to start layering this more. Okay, and this side here I want more orange than anything. And it's being covered up little by little. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my brush sideways so I can paint like a nice straight line. This is a little off, but guess what? I'm going to paint a cloud over that. So I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, I could straighten it out if I want. But if you don't feel like it, don't feel obligated, just remember you can paint a cloud over that. And I'm going to keep layering. With that orange. I don't want it super dark on the other side, but I do want it darker. There's where I'm at right now. With that same orangey red out, I'm going to go over on this side now, and I'm going to go ahead and start painting the other side of this reflection right about here. Now remember, I'm going to connect these like this. Okay, so this is going to meet this way, and I'm painting with my brush this way. If the tracing lines are dark, you're going to have to layer it, and it's not a big deal. See how I'm going back and I'm just going back and forth with my brush like this. Now whatever we did on this side, you see how we did that over there? I'm going to throw a little bit of orange on this side. Just a little bit. You don't want a lot. You just want to incorporate a little bit of that. Emma, if you can see, I still have my dark lines. You can still see the tracing lines. And that's fine because guess what? While we're painting the other elements, we could go back and repaint this and repaint it until it's covered up. But we had to sacrifice that to make a nice circle. Otherwise, you might have had a circle you weren't happy with. Okay? So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to continue painting these reds. This is the lighter side right over here. It should be a lot lighter. And you're just going to paint with your brush sideways. You're not going to paint with your brush flat. You're going to use the brush sideways, just like this. And remember this, remember what we did over here? We're going to do that. We're going to put a little bit of lines that are away from each other, like little ripples in the water. Just like that. There's my reflection. Now, the key, remember, all you have to do is you got your darks on this side, you got your lights on this side. All you're doing is meeting the two together, just like this. If I had to show you on a separate plate right here, as long as you make these lines like this, and you make your darker lines meet them just like that. That's the whole concept. All you're doing for the reflection is that. And like I said, with this, we're going to let that dry too. So I'm going to add some more orangey red right here because it's almost dried up. And I want to make sure I get plenty of paint over my tracing lines. And it's almost gone. It's starting to disappear. Can you guys see that? I'm going to do the same thing right over here. Making sure I'm putting plenty of paint on those crosshairs that we just made. Just like that. I'm going to let that dry up. It probably needs about one more layer of paint and we're probably good. Well, that paint is out. I'm going to grab that orangey color and I'm going to go down here again now. Don't overblend. I like all these different colors. There's crimsons, there's orange, there's yellow oranges. There's so many different tones. Remember, as long as your brush is doing this, that's the key. And then incorporate a little bit of these brighter oranges right here, just a little bit, right over here. I like that. That's cool. That's drying. Let it do its thing. Okay. I'm going to even go so far as to say I put plenty of paint. I want to move on. Okay. I'm going to paint my rock right here. And while that, by the time that's done, I'm going to put more paint. So I'm going to keep all this paint right here. If you have a spray bottle, spray your palette. If you don't have a spray bottle and I've given you a kit, let me know. And the next time I see you, I will give you a spray bottle. I'm going to rinse my brush out just like this. I want all that paint out. Well, it doesn't matter too much because we're going to be using black now. Okay. I want all that paint out. I don't want it super wet. Check this out. This is how I paint. I'm going to teach you guys how I roll. There's a lot of reds right there. I'm going to open up my paper towel, fold it over, and use this part of it. Please don't blow through paper towels, especially right now, you guys. Months ago, it'd have been like, who cares? Go to the dollar store, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if we only knew. So I can use the same paper towel and the same pellet for an entire piece, but if you guys can't, there are paper towels available at the dollar store. They do have tons of them. But be conservative with your supplies. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some black paint out. And I'm going to keep it away from this paint that I just put up. I'm going to put my black paint here. Okay, I'm going to switch to my flat or my round brush. I'm going to use my flat brush to cover the area in just a second. I want to use this again because I'm going to be drawing this area right up here. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some black paint on this, and I want it on there pretty thick. I don't want it watered down. It's about the halfway mark of where the painting is at. So I'm going to put a little mark right here. just like that. And it goes down to about right here. It's not the middle of the painting. This is the middle of the painting. I want to put another mark right here. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. Right there. I'm going to go ahead and take the painting off so you guys don't have to see it right now, just temporarily. And I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to work my way down. Now remember, rocks don't have, they have hard straight lines, so I'm going to go down, up, down, and I'm working my way here. I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to go straight down. I'm going to put a couple little bumps right here like this. I'm going to go like this again. Remember, that tree's going to come right here, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to put a mark right there like that. But I am going to see this right here, so I want to make sure that this is good. I like that. So I'm going to take all the paint off of my brush right now before I don't want to rinse out any of that paint. It's still good paint. And I could do this with the flat brush or the round brush. I'll probably just keep painting with the round brush. Don't make any lines for your rocks wavy. Make them straight and hard chiseled. Paint the side of your painting too. If you guys have any questions, remember, just send me a message here on the chat. All right, check that out. Paint the sides of your canvas. There's where I'm at right there. Now, same thing with the black. The black's got to dry. It's in an awkward stage right now. We are going to layer it, but I do want to put another layer of black on it. Just not right now. Okay, this is the part where you can add more concaves and more hard edges to your rocks. The more little edges you have like this, the more detailed it's going to look. Let your brush do all the work too. Look at that. That's kind of cool like that. I like that. I like that. We just painted this. This is drying. This is almost dry. But there's a couple of other things we could paint too while we're waiting for this. We could add more to this if we wanted. This is all good right here. I'm going to leave that just like that. I might rinse this brush out because I think I'm going to go back and revisit this right now. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush out. Don't smush your brush. And remember, your rounds, when you wring them out, you pull them up and you twist them at the same time to get all that water out, like you're wringing out a mop. Okay, and I'm going to dry it off with my paper towel. I'm going to go back and revisit this now. This is drying. I'm going to go back and revisit this. Still got those reds and oranges out that we mixed up. Now this is important because if you're painting this now, this could be your last layer of paint, so you're going to want to make sure that you're going in a circular direction. Directional painting. That's pretty good. I like that. Watch this dry brush. There's not a lot of paint on there. Watch how I do this. This is called dry brushing. There's very little paint on this. I'm just going to pull my brush across and it's going to make this weird looking but cool effect. It's called dry brushing. the way you dry brush is you don't put any paint on this and you pull your brush in this direction. You see all the streaks that are left behind? It's a little different because it's on the foam plate. But when you do that on a canvas, it leaves this effect behind. It's called dry brushing. Okay, so I just dry brushed a bunch of stuff on here, a bunch of color. And I like that. Now I'm going to go back because I have this paint on here. And I'm going to go ahead and add my lighter colors in on this side. Remember that whole mopping back and forth. I like where this is going. Now, what about this darker, Chris, right? Okay, let's go back to that now. We gave plenty of love to this side. Let's go back and put that reddish blue together to make it dark again. Here's where I'm at with this color now. It's almost like a purplish. But I'm going to go through here. And don't cover up these oranges right here. Just go back and forth. Maybe I want a little bit of that darker color on this side. Now, one thing I did is I over-painted on some areas. But what I'm going to do is, I still have this paint on here. I'm going to go and dry brush that darker color on this side. And I'm going to beat up the paint a little bit on the canvas in a circular motion. Don't paint straight up and down. Go with this circular motion until it runs out. And I'm going to run out right around, oops, it's a little too much. My tree's going to go right through that, but that's kind of cool. I like that. That spot's all right. All right, I'm going to rinse my brush out one more time. Is everybody doing okay? Am I moving too fast? Are you guys good? You guys do realize these paintings that you're painting with me would take the average painter, like at the beginning painting level, like a whole day. We're knocking these out in like 2.5 hours, and they're looking pretty amazing. They're pretty awesome. All right, one thing I'm going to fix, this is all dried up. I want to see some water spots, so I'm going to go back to this right up here, and I'm going to pull up some white and some gray, and I want my brush really flat and thin. Watch this. I'm going to go through here and correct some of this like white out. I'm going to put a little bit like right here. And I might throw a little bit like right here, because you still want to see the water. You're not going to see all reflection. Keep your brush flat and thin for this, okay? And I might throw a little bit right here. This is seriously just like white out. Just going right over and fixing a few little spots. That's pretty cool. I've added a little bit more. Just a little. Don't overdo it. And some lighter colors right around these edges right here would be really cool. So grab some pure white and just go right on the edges right there. Just a little bit. Don't overdo it. That's cool. Yes, I love that. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brush out. Push this back a little bit so you can see it. Perfect. How's everybody doing? You guys good? If you're there, hit the thumbs up on this right now. Go for it. I got 11 likes. The likes don't matter, honestly. I just want to do this for fun. Give it a thumbs up right now because I'm at 11. If you thumbs up it already, awesome. I'm getting lots of pictures of people projecting me into their living rooms, which is rad. I love that. That's so cool. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. You guys getting all this down here? That's really cool. This is almost dry. I'm going to add one more layer of black to that. But I really want to get rid of like what Emma said. Emma suggested, my friend Emma, I can still see my tracing lines. Well, I can too, and it bugs me. But they're going to go away. Remember, this is acrylic paint. It could just be layered. You could just paint over things over and over again. Okay? So this is good. I don't want to mess with that anymore. I like that. I'm totally happy with that. I'm ready to move forward. But I want to get rid of some of these lines because I know that the tree I'm going to put in may not cover all of that. So it's right here. It's not quite the orange color that I mixed up. And it's not quite the darker. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the in-between. This is good on this side. I'm going to go ahead and start painting over that. I want to get rid of those tracing lines. Right, Emma? Got to get rid of those. I'm going to lightly graze over the darker so it blends in real nice. When you're dry brushing and doing this effect, you don't need to push down hard on your brush. You just have to lightly graze over like this. Just lightly graze over it. Okay, and I want a little bit more of the orange on this side. Ooh, that's cool. I added a little too much yellow, but I kind of like that. I am pretty sure that I am happy with this. I'm not going to touch this anymore. There is my crimson sun. Okay, that doesn't mean that you need to leave the feed right now, because if you do, I'm going to find out who left the chat. Just kidding, I won't find out. That is the star of our show. We're going to bring in the co-star here in just a minute, but I'm going to rinse my brush out. Really good. I'm going to dry it off really nice. I am going to add one more layer of black right here. And you know what I'm going to do? Because I don't want to contaminate my flat brush with black, because I'm going to add something else in there in a minute. I'm going to use my round brush still. If you guys want to use your flat brush, here, let me do this. Let me use my flat brush so you guys can see how I use a flat brush to paint lines. I still have black out. I can see some streaks through here, so very carefully I'm going to go through. And when I say very carefully, I don't want you to go over these really cool little lines that we made, because that builds a lot of character in the rocks. Okay, just like this. It only needed one more layer. This was good. Not like the sun where it needed like 20 layers. Sorry about that, guys. All right, here we are. I'm done with that. That's going to dry. I am going to start my tree. You can use a flat brush or a round brush. But I tell you what, I'm going to give you guys like a minute to catch up on that before we start the tree. I'm going to rinse my brush out. I'm going to just spray down my palette a little bit. It's pretty dry in here. Again, if you guys don't have a spray bottle, you can pick these up at the dollar store. If you have a paint kit you got from Miss Amy and I, the next time we see you, we will throw in some spray bottles. Okay. I'm giving everybody a minute. So if you're done with this, take a break, stand up, stretch, put a comment in there, let me know you're painting along with me. Share, post stuff on social media. Okay, we just want to keep you guys busy right now. And I think this is a lot of fun. I look forward to painting with you guys. Even though I wish I could have you guys in person, in my home or at a big hall where I do paint parties. I'm really missing that interaction with you guys. I really am missing that interaction. And I do. I miss talking to you. I miss holding up your painting and seeing the expressions on your face when I tell you that it's awesome and you're doing fine, to just keep going. That's the reward for me, and I'm not getting that right now, and it really stinks. But guess what? I can virtually see you smiling and saying, oh, he noticed my piece. I did notice your piece. I'm looking at it right now. Caesar and his family, I can see you guys all. I'm looking at you. Yep, I can see you laughing right now and saying, yeah, how does he know? Because I know. Jeanette, Nicole, Alicia Fastina, everybody. I'm watching you guys. I'm transporting in my mind into your homes and watching you guys. Ariana, I'm watching you. Emma, I'm watching you. When this is all done, I promise you guys, we are going to have the biggest party. But I'm just going to forewarn you guys, when this is all done and you see me in person, you're going to get big hugs, you're going to get handshakes, and it's going to be really frustrating for you guys, but that's just how I am. I'm a hugger, I'm a crier, and I am a big handshaker. And yes, when this all ends, we're going to have a big, huge paint party. You're all invited. I have 5 smokers in my backyard that I've been collecting and building. All those are going to be fired up. For my vegetarian friends, you're going to have smoked vegetarian foods. Yes, there is such a thing. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a big party, you guys. I promise. All right, if you're ready to move forward, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to go. So cool. I'm getting text messages from people about their pieces, and oh, that's cool. Look at that. That's so cool. Where'd it go? No, it went away. My student Megan is painting along right now, and Amanda, you better be painting. And they just sent me their pieces. That's awesome. Look at that. The Hunsacker family's painting along. They got me up on their living room. Everyone's painting along with me. That's rad. Ooh, there's a plate next to Dad. That looks good. I'm hungry, that's why. You guys having fun? All right. Thank you, you guys. Thanks for sending me pictures of your paintings and everyone in your household hanging out, having fun. That's so cool. That means a lot to me. Okay, here comes what we call in the painting world our bravery test. We painted this gorgeous sun and this really cool reflection and this beautiful sky. Now we're going to put in the foreground element, which is going to be a little bit of a buzzkill, but I promise it's all going to come together. Okay, in a composition, we have our background, our midground, and our foreground. This is the background. This is our midground. We're going to paint the foreground in right now, and that's going to be our tree. Actually, the clouds are going to be our midground too, but we're going to paint those in a little bit later. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get my round brush right here. I'm going to get it a little bit wet, not too much, but I have some black paint. Now, I want to draw with my paintbrush. I don't want to goop a bunch of black paint on there. So make sure there isn't a bunch of water in your paintbrush. Push it out on the paper towel. I'm going to draw with my paintbrush. Are you ready? I'm going to start up here. I'm going to go from here and I'm going to come down to about right here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little dot right here. And I'm going to put another little dot right here. Okay, I want to connect the dots almost. I don't want to play guessing games. I don't like that. Okay, so I'm going to make a line that goes, don't make it straight. You can move your arm a little bit to make it a little bit organic. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this line that goes like this. Right there. Oh my gosh, you just made me ruin this awesome sunset we just made, this sun. No, I didn't. I promise it's going to come together. Awesome. Cassie just sent me a picture. That's beautiful. I love it. Actually, I like your water better than mine. I'm a little jealous. Oh. There she is. Emma is painting along with me. How adorable. Ugh, you guys are too much. You can make me cry in a second. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to go from here and I'm going to make a line right in the middle right here. So I'm going to put a little line right here, like a curved line. And I'm going to bring my branch from here. I'm going to bring it around just like this. All right. And I'm going to put another little line or little dot marker right here. Not quite at the horizon line, just right there. And I'm going to bring this around. I have a starting point and a stopping point. That's why I like putting those lines in like that. There you go. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put more paint on my brush. I'm going to go up and about right there. Okay. Now, before I bring this tree all the way down, I have to put color on this rocky little structure right here. So I'm going to worry about that in a second because it's still drying. But I'm going to keep working on this. So I'm going to thicken this up. This is the base of our tree right here, of our foreground. Now, here's my formula when I make trees. You start out thin and you get thicker towards the base. If you follow that formula, it's perfect. Tree branches branch out. They start thick from the base and they thin out as they move out. In this case, I'm working reverse. So I'm going to make branches thin and I'm going to go thicker. Watch this. Thin, very little pressure on the brush, and then push down a little bit harder to make a thicker line. That's how you make branches on trees, okay? So with that, I want another branch, probably right here, like little fingers. Thin, very little pressure on the brush, thicken up, Boom. There we go. Okay. If your sons are still wet, you don't have to do this yet. Oh, that rhymed. If your sons are still wet, you don't have to do this yet. Okay. Here's the other thing you can do. If you don't have a hairdryer, grab your painting right now and wave it back and forth, just like this. You can fan the person next to you because it's a really hot day out in the high desert. Wave it around. Okay. If your sons are still wet, I'll give you just a second to catch up to this. We're almost done, guys. I'll tell you what, if your sons are still wet, let's do this. I'm going to rinse my brush out. Leave that a minute. Think about that. Think about what you did. You ever get punished, thrown in a room, and you have to think about what you did? Well, that's what you're doing right now. Think about what you did. Just kidding. We're all punished right now. We're all stuck in our homes. Not really. You can spend time with your family. You can watch TV. You can watch Ghost Adventures and Outlander. All the fun stuff on Netflix. So watch what I do here. I want a red reflection on these rocks. Okay. Normally you'd put brown, but we don't have brown, and I don't feel like making brown. So I'm going to put red, but it's going to be more of a... let's see. Let's just see where this goes. I want like a purplish red. So this red and blue that we have out here, I want it more red than blue. I want it almost dark. I'm going to add a little bit of black. Now watch this. I'm going to mix this right here. I don't want to contaminate this. I want to pull some of this paint right here. I want to add some black to it. Watch what I do. Watch how I paint these rocks. If you ever see people that are doing plein air paintings, this is how you paint rocks. You paint straight. Like that. Down. Down. Don't paint like this. You just put straight lines in. Straight. 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 I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see that? There we go. And you'll want to keep putting straight lines in like this. You don't want any curved lines or brush marks. You want straight. Make sure your arm is locked and you're painting straight. This is the dark layer. See how I'm painting? I'm not painting like this or circular. I'm just going straight. That's cool. I like that a lot. But I do want some lighter colors up here. So I'm going to drag some reds, pure reds, and I'm going to just do the same thing right up here. Follow this pattern you just made too. I like that. I don't want to do any more. I absolutely love that. I think it's really cool. That's drying now. There's nothing we can do about that. So now I'm not going to mess with that anymore. It's lovely. Great. Fantastic. I'm going to rinse my brush out. Get all that acrylic paint out. Okay. Your water's really murky and dark. It's okay. We're not going to clean our water out just yet. We're not going to use any white yet. Now that's done, I'm going to go back to my black here. I still have black on my palette. I'm going to go back over here. Now I want the same rules apply with your tree. It's going to start out thinner and get thick towards the bottom. So here's here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go here. It's going to get a little bit thicker. And I'm going to push down on the brush a little bit more. And look at that. Very little pressure on the brush. Watch this. Very little pressure. Pushing down more, pushing down more, pushing down more. Look at how I did that. It's the same concept. This is the same concept when you're making trees on a painting. This is really cool. I love it. It's coming out real nice. Are you guys happy with yours so far? Excellent. Most of all, are you guys having fun? Come on now. You know this is really cool. All right, I'm going to get more black. If you need more paint, grab some more black paint. Okay, I'm going to go from here to here, but watch how I do this. I'm going to do this. Not a straight line. It's going to get thicker right there. Okay, I need more black paint, so I'm going to refill up just a little bit. Be very sparing with your paints. I'd rather see you guys run out of paint and then add more than finish a piece and have a plate that's just loaded with paint that you have to throw out. Especially right now when it's really hard to come by. Okay, and I'm going to go here now and I'm going to do this. It's going to not be super thick. Just like this. I'm going to fill this in so you guys can see it. Now remember to directional paint with the tree so that we get that bark effect. Okay, there's where I'm at right there. This is almost dry down here, so if I go over that a little bit, it's not going to hurt my fillings. But now watch this. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to curve and I'm heading destination towards that little rock. You guys can name that rock if you want. What are we going to name that little rock? Little rock? No. I'm going to paint right over this even though that it's black. Oh, that's cool. I was working on my truck and I had my flashlight. So check this out. You guys can see now because I got my flashlight. Look at this. This flashlight saved my life. Putting a power steering pump hose in my truck the other day and I had this out. Here it is. Still here. Talk about spotlight, huh? I'm going to get some more black paint. There's one root. Now the same thing with the roots. They're going to be thick and they're going to get thin. So I'm going to go over here now. I'm going to make the base of this. Watch this. It's going to thicken up really, really thick right here. And I have black paint on my brush. I'm going to go ahead and brush all this in right now. Don't go too far because we got to make some roots. But this is where I'm at right now. Sergio, I have made a mural. I made a couple of murals. I made a mural when I worked at Best Buy. I made a giant Superman pulling open his shirt, and he was wearing a Best Buy t-shirt. That was a big mural I made. I made murals in people's bedrooms. Made a couple murals on the Bear Valley underpass. I wasn't probably supposed to make, but I did anyways. All right, here's where I'm at. Put this light on again. That's cool. I like that. Can you guys see that? Is that cool? Red rock. Yes. Red rock is cool. I like that. You can still see the layering here. That it's in the awkward stage still, but this is what I'm looking at right here. I'm going to make another root. I'm going to thicken this up, and it's going to get thin, just like that. And I'm going to put another one right here. It's going to get thick. So I'm pushing down on the brush, and I'm going to pull up on the brush little by little and make another root. Just like that. I'm going to get more paint on my brush. Now this root is going to go this direction. Just like this. And then, check this out. I'm going to have a root going into the water. Right over here. Like it's leaning over the rock. Can you guys see that okay? That's cool. I like that. You guys see that all right? Okay, so now this is drying. Let's leave that alone. Let's go focus on some other stuff. Here we go. If you want your brush to get a finer point, you're going to want to roll it around just like this and pull it up. Gently. Should have a nice point like a pen or a pencil. Okay? I'm going to put another branch right up here, and I'm going to do the whole formula of starting out thin and then thickening up on the way down. Just like that. Thin to thick. If you're working outward, it's thick to thin. Remember this whole thing. Whoops, sorry about that. Remember this whole thing. Thin, little pressure, more pressure, more pressure, push down. Look at that mark I made. If you're going from the branch out or from the base of the trunk out, thick, and you pull up little by little, and you pull up till there's little pressure on the brush, and there's your mark right there. That is the formula when you're making trees, I promise. I'm having a lot of fun with you guys. Virtually. All right. That's good. Let's put another branch right here. Let's start out. Let's do the opposite. Let's go thick to thin. Now watch this. I'm going to go thicker, not super thick. And I'm going to pull off on the brush just a little bit until I'm barely touching the canvas, just like that. Takes practice. If you guys like these paintings and you paint along with me again, I'm going to teach you guys more techniques. So from this branch, you do the same thing. Thicker and then thin. And thicker right here. Go down a little bit. All right, I'm going to put a little branch. I'm going to thin this out a little bit. I'm not too happy with it. Now I'm going to move down over here. Right in this area right here is where I'm going to work next. I'm going to go from here to here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out here. Watch how I do this. Now, remember, I'm just a reference, you guys. If yours comes out different from mine, go for it. I don't care. I love all the variations. So if I make a line and yours is different, but it still looks decent to you or good to you, go for it. Okay? I'm going to start out here. And I'm going to go from thick to thin, right around this little curve right here. Watch how I do this. I'm going to go out, and I'm going to work my way. No straight lines when you're making branches. And I'm going to go out. I'm going to curve it a little bit, just like that. No straight lines. This is the part where you can be happy that you don't make straight lines with your arm. If your arm's a little shaky or it's a little wavy, go for it. It's all good. Adds more character to it. Okay, now I'm going to do the reverse. I'm going to go from thin to thick right over here. Very little pressure on the brush, thicken up, and then boom. Joins into that branch right there. And I want another one. Careful where you put your hand too. You don't want to put that right in the paint. I'm going to go thin, thicker, boom, just like that. Right? And now I'm going to add a couple small ones right up here. They're going to go up straight, little small ones right here, thin to thick. Remember, these branches are like fingers. They're just branching out. I'm going to do another one from here to there and from there to there. Okay, really quick tip while you're painting branches. Never paint a branch with branches coming out like that. Okay? What you'll want to do is paint branches where one branch is coming out here and then move down a little bit. Another one is coming out right there. See the difference? And if you guys want, go out when this painting's done, when it's sunlight, go out and look at your trees and look at the branches. Look at the patterns. When you paint that way, it's very organic, very natural. All right, I loaded some more paint on, but I'm going to roll my brush so that I get a nice point. If you have a smaller brush, you can use a smaller brush for these. Some of you guys have the paint kits that have smaller brushes. Go for it. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here, and I want this branch to go thin, thicker, thicker, and it's going to come up around and go boom right here. Just like that. Yes, Edward Scissorhands. Now we're going to put all of our little blossoms here. I'm really sad because our bushes have all these white blossoms on them right now, and the bees love them. We're trying to help the bees out right now. And I opened the back door today and walked outside, and all the blossoms are falling off. They're on our back patio, which is sad for us because not only are the cool flowers gone, but the bees relocate and go somewhere else. We always want to give the bees a really cool home to hang out at. Okay, so I got that done. I'm going to make another branch that goes thin to thick, just like that. And another one that goes, what the heck, let's do right here. You see how I did that? They're all separated. They're not all connected like a finger. They branch out. It's very random. I think I'm cool with that. I want to do one more right up here. So I'm going to move right up here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go here and thicker. Boom, right there like that. And I'm going to do another one that branches out right there. And another one that comes about right here. I like that. I'm not going to mess with that. That needs to be layered a little bit more, so I'm going to add some more black in here. Now this is all dried up. We can go back in with our black and we can start throwing more black in right here. Now remember, this branch is overlapping right here. This branch is going to be in front of this branch right here. So I don't want to paint this over. I want to treat this like it's another element, like a three-dimensional element. And paint this just like this. Okay, these roots are all good, I think. I'm not going to mess with them much more. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to wipe off the black paint. Don't rinse your brush out. Just wipe it off on your paper towel. There's still black on there. Okay, I'm going to do a dry brush effect. I'm going to wipe off as much black. Do not rinse your brush out. Just wipe it off on your paper towel. Just like this. Do not rinse your brush out. I still have white on my palette, but I just want a little bit. Watch what I do next. I'm going to grab a little bit of white, not too much. And I'm going to wipe that off. So a little bit more. I'm going to wipe off that white that I put on there. Now watch this. I'm going to start right up here. Okay? And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to work my way down. And I'm going to put some pressure on it, but not a lot. This is a really cool streaky effect we're going to do. If your brush is too wet, you will not get this effect. You have to do a dry brush effect. And the way you do that is put a little bit of white on there. And then after you put white on there, wipe it off. Make sure your brush is flat like this. And go through very gently. Just like that. Very gently. When I say gently, I mean barely go over the brush this way. If you do the brush, if you paint with it like this, it's not going to work. You have to do it this direction. This is a dry brush effect that we're doing. Okay, add some white. Wipe it right off. With your brush nice and flat, go through. Now remember this part right here. Let's do this right now so we don't forget this. Watch this. And I'm going to put a little bit down here. Okay, now you see this is overlapping that. So I'm going to go through right here with my brush. And I'm going to go this direction. But then when I get right here, I'm going to move up. Barely graze your piece. And then go in the direction that the tree is going, which is this direction here. And you will create these lines that look like the bark of the tree. Just like that. More white paint. Wipe off as much as you can on your paper towel. Make sure it's nice and flat like that. Then I'm going to go on this side and add these streaks in here. Barely graze over. You want to see those lines and make those lines wavy. Don't make them straight. I don't know if you guys can see that okay, but you want the brush to do all the work and make these really cool lines for you. So I'm going to wipe the brush off flat so that my brush is nice and flat. And then I'm going to make grain by barely brushing over the canvas. Be creative with this and have fun. Look at that. I went right down into the roots. I haven't put any more paint on my brush. I want to use what's on there. Don't overdo it. We like the black that's on there. And I'm going to put a little bit on this root down here. I haven't rinsed my brush out yet. This is red rock right here. Boy, this piece has come a long way. We went from this little square to stressing out, thinking, oh no, how are we going to paint this? I'm getting pictures from you guys, text messages, all kinds of messages. You guys are doing awesome. This is rad. Isn't this painting awesome? I'm going to rinse my brush out. Before I paint with the white, I'm going to rinse my brush or my cup out. I'm going to dump my water. I'm going to get new water. If you need a new paper towel, piece of a paper towel, look at mine. I got a few more uses out of it before I toss it. Oh, I can flip it over. I'll flip it over in a minute. I'll give you guys just another minute to do all that. I don't want to move forward and move too fast because we're almost done, and I don't want to rush this. How you guys doing? Give me a thumbs up or, hey, I'm done, I'm good, I'm ready to move forward. Let me know. I don't want to leave anybody behind. We got a lot of kiddos painting along tonight too. I don't want to leave any of them behind. I want them to get frustrated. We have some new painters painting along. I want to make sure you guys are all having fun and you guys are like all caught up. Remember, this is not a chore. I want you guys to have fun with this. This is so cool. It's painting. Could be worse. All right. All right, so far so good. We're getting some more responses. Steve's doing better than you, huh? Maybe Steve has a hidden talent you didn't know about. I'm sure yours is fine, though. I saw Steve's paintings from last time. He did really good. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of crimson into that tree as soon as we're done with these clouds. I'm going to make the clouds next. So we're almost done. I might go ahead and take the painting off. Whoops, sorry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a crimson color. We're going to be working up here. I'm going to start from the right to the left because I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed, you can work from the left to the right. That way, by the time you're done, this will be ready to be layered again on the left-hand side. But I'm going to work from the right to the left. I might switch it up and I might go back onto this side for you guys. But I'm going to teach you how to make a alizarin crimson color. And all it is some red. We're going to make our clouds right now. I'm going to start with the dark. I'm going to go from dark to light with this. I'm going to get some red and some blue together. Okay, it's purple. I don't want purple. I'm going to add a drop of white. And then I'm going to add a little bit of black. This is how you make that alizarin crimson. That's good. Alizarin crimson is like a darkish, desaturated purple. Okay, are you ready? My first cloud I'm going to make. Now, Star Wars fans, where are you guys? These look like Star Destroyers, just so you know. The way I make clouds. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go up a little bit right here, and I'm going to make my first one. It's going to go from here to here. And now these are not straight. You can make them a little bit wavy. Make a line just like that. Oh, let me get rid of the painting. Okay, and I'm going to come out here, and now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wave the brush around just a little bit, and it's going to get bigger up at the top, and I'm going to fill that in. There's the dark part. I'm going to go ahead and get some more of that really cool, and this is what it looks like. This is the color right here. It's an alizarin crimson. Here it is on my palette. It's just red and blue with a little bit of white and a little bit of black. Now, as the clouds get further away, I want them to get smaller. So I'm going to put another cloud right up here, but it's going to be smaller. Watch how I do this. It's going to go here. Now, the way you make these clouds, if you make one a certain way, you have to carry out that pattern. I'm going to make it about right there. Now watch this. I'm going to make the scaled down smaller version of this right here. Because I want to create a sense of depth, that it's way back there. Okay, it's not a huge difference, but it's further back. You could totally tell. And then I'm going to get some more of that crimson color. And I'm going to go onto this side, and I'm going to paint a cloud that goes from here into this area right here. and I'm just going to pop it on the canvas. I'm not going to paint it on there. As long as it's flat on the bottom, you're totally fine. Don't make cartoon clouds. They have to be flat on the bottom, and then they stretch out just like that. There we go. And I'm going to grab some more of that crimson color. And I'm going to make a smaller one back here, right under here. I'm going to paint a flat. I want this one to look like it's pretty far away. Just like that. I only want 4 sets of clouds. That's it. You guys go with that? If you want to make 5 or 6, go for it. If you want to make 2 or 3, go for it. It's your piece, remember. I'm just the reference. Now, I painted all this. I'm going to come back here. This is almost dry. I'm going to add more layers to this, mostly the bottom. With clouds, you want it darker on the bottom and lighter at the top. So I'm putting a second layer here. Right there. And because we're painting a little bit smaller and a little bit thinner, it should dry pretty quick, fairly quick. I'm going to give you guys a minute to catch up on that. I'll tell you what, while I'm waiting for that to dry, if you guys are already past this point, I'm going to get my brush and I'm going to gently wipe off as much of this as I can. I'm going to gently go through here. I'm going to add some of that, just a little bit in here. Right here, a little bit right here, right here. Ooh, that looks cool, like that. Just wherever you want to put it. I like that right there. No patterns, remember. Look what I did. If you do something like that, just leave it. I have a solution for that. Watch this. Rinse my brush out. I got a little too crazy. I overdid it. Some black paint. Boom, shakalaka right there. Okay. That's going to have to dry up a minute because I'm going to throw some streaks in it right here. No, it doesn't have to dry. Look at that. Alright, I'm going to rinse my brush out. Did anybody else do that? Anybody else do what I did? Or is it just me? Did the teacher mess up and nobody else? Okay, this is dry. Now, remember this alizarin crimson we just made? I want to grab that alizarin crimson and I want to add a little bit of white to that. Now watch this. And now what I want to do is this. I don't want to go on the bottom. I just want to go at the top layer of these clouds that I just made. Just like that. And the same thing over here. I want to just do the top part of the clouds. Just like that. Be creative, have fun, use your brush to do let the brush do all the work. I'm just stirring the brush around. Look at that. Okay, well that's drying. This is the last of the crimson we're going to use. We're going to make a darker rendition of all this. So I'm going to go ahead and just wipe the brush off. I don't want any of that white on there because if I mix any darker in there, it's going to turn like a grayish color. Okay, I'm going to go back to this crimson. Remember, the way we made it was just red, blue, came up with a purple color. Instead of adding white, I'm going to add a little drop of black to it. Just a little bit. We don't want too much. We don't want any like drastic tone changes. Okay, now watch this. This is the color I have now. It's definitely darker. I don't want it super dark. I'm going to go underneath right here and just highlight a couple little areas with this darker that we made, mostly underneath the white. If you go right underneath the white right here with that darker color you made, it'll bring out some contrast. Contrast meaning light and dark. That's major contrast. And I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. No straight lines, just kind of work the brush in. I told you guys these look like Star Destroyers from Star Wars. And I'm going to go back to this little small one right down here. And I'm going to rinse my brush out. Now, if you want to take it one step further before we move on and we finish this guy up, I'm going to rinse my brush out. I'm going to get that lighter alizarin crimson color I made. Now watch this. I'm going to barely go over some of this right here. Just the tops. Remember, we have three different types of tones. We have our shadows, we have our midtones, and we have our highlights. I'm popping in the highlights right now. If you don't want to do this, and you're scared to, don't be scared. It's paint. It dries up. You can go over it and fix it later. We call this scumbling, where you're just kind of pushing the brush and popping it in. You're not really brushing it, you're just kind of popping it in there. Okay, I'm totally good with that. You guys see that okay? I'm going to rinse my brush out and I'm going to change my water out now. Look at my water. Looks like a nasty raspberry protein drink. So I'm going to rinse it out and put clean water in because the last and final thing we're going to do is we're going to put white for the blossoms that are hanging over and we're going to be done with this painting. I'm going to give you guys a minute to catch up to this. How does yours look? Let me know. Does it look good? Are you struggling? You have any questions? Let me know. I'll help you guys out, okay? What's up, Zito? Zito, are you doing good? Are you having fun? Because we're almost done, and I want you guys to be able to paint with me. Next week's paint party that we're going to do is definitely going to be a kids one. It's going to be fun, though. I'll make sure that the big kids enjoy it, too. But we did Harry Potter last week. That was really cool. I'm thinking it might be a Star Wars one. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I was born in 1977, and that's when Star Wars came out. I got to meet Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, when I was 18. It was the coolest thing in the world. I loved him. I even called him Luke Skywalker. I didn't call him Mark Hamill. But I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, and I think that we could use a little bit of Star Wars right now. All right, my water's rinsed out. My brush is rinsed out. I'm going to get some new paint, some white paint. I'm going to rinse my brush out really good. Look at this water, how nice and clean it is. Okay. No, it's not bad, Nick. I'm sure it's fine. Also, I had a few people texting me right now asking me what my Venmo was or my PayPal because they want to help donate. You guys do not, I promise you, and I'm going to stress this, you do not have to pay for these paint lessons. They're absolutely free of charge. I want everyone to hang out. We do have a lot of friends that are reaching out and helping us out with paint supplies. We are putting in orders like every other day, and we're doing paint kits for the kiddos all over the high desert, not just at our community. Here in Apple Valley, we're doing Hesperia, Adelanto, Victorville, and it's really neat. And I just want to see the kids painting and having fun. 100% of my proceeds that I make off of these are going to paint kits. So we are more than happy to do that for the kids right now. We just want the kids to have fun, and the families too. And my big kids, my high school kids, some of them are painting along with me tonight. I want you guys to all paint and have fun. I want you guys to have another tool to put in your toolbox. Okay? All right, so are you guys ready? So with that, I'm putting my information down. Again, you do not have to pay for these paint lessons. They are absolutely free of charge. I'm only putting them up because I had several people asking me last week and right now if we are accepting donations. Again, whether it's paint supplies or funds for paints, 100% of the proceeds are going towards paint kits for the kids. They include a nice set of brushes, a palette, all the primary colors. And then we're not just getting craft paint. These are really good quality paints that I use for paintings that I actually sell and that I use for my commission work. So they're good quality paints, and they also include a canvas. If you need a couple of canvases, we're including the canvases too. So if you want 2 canvases, just let us know. Follow our social media. Message me. We're doing drop-offs like the day before, and it's really neat. So if your kiddos need something to do, I promise it's absolutely free of charge. No, we don't want anything. But there are a bunch of people, a bunch of friends out there that want to help out, and they ask for my PayPal or Venmo information. 100% of the proceeds are going towards paint kits for the kiddos. Okay? So I have that up on the screen. It's up to you guys. You don't have to do it. I promise. We're not trying to make any money at all. So I just want to see that my reward is seeing you guys post pictures to my social media as a family hanging out. Because let's face it, we're going through a tough time right now. I don't even want to talk about it. It's bringing me down just thinking about it. But I like the positivity that's coming out of this with other people trying to help out. Okay? So here we go. Let's finish this off. This looks gorgeous. I love this. I'm super happy with this. Okay. I'm going to get some fresh white paint from my handy dandy white right here. Now, this is kind of contaminated. I don't want any grays in it. I just want pure white. So I'm going to find a spot on my canvas that's completely dry, which is probably right here. And it's not going to take a ton of white paint, and be very sparing with your paints. I'm going to put some paint right there. That's all the paint I'm probably going to need. It's like a half a teaspoon's worth of paint, okay? If you guys run out of paint and you're from the high desert, message Mr. Chris or Mrs. Hernandez. I will get you guys paint, I promise, okay? No charge. We just want you guys to have paint. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to get my brush, my round brush. I'm going to put a little bit of white on there. Not a lot. Be very careful with your brush for this. I don't want you guys to ruin it. Watch what I do. Pop, 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 pop. I'm just going to start dabbing some white paint on here. You guys probably can't see that. Let me just move it closer. Okay, I'm going to really make this white pop out over these. Now, I'm using different variations of size of these little pops that I'm putting on here. And I'm going to put more white paint on. Let's go up here. Watch this. I'm just popping the brush on there. Be gentle with your brush. You don't want to ruin it. These are the little blossoms that are sitting right over the branches. Everybody wants Baby Yoda. Actually, Jon Favreau, who directed The Mandalorian, was not nice to Bob Iger, who was the CEO of Star Wars, and he lashed out at him and said, "Stop calling him Baby Yoda. His name is the child." It's not Baby Yoda. But I still call him Baby Yoda, or her, whatever it is, because it's Baby Yoda. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to pop the brush on again. I'm going to pull this down right here. I'm going to move my canvas down. I'll tell you what, I'm going to move my camera up. Okay, and watch this. I'm going to go down here. Now, brush and size variation. So push down on some of them and then be a little bit easy. But look at this. Go right over that cloud. More white paint. And I'm going to go right over here. Now remember, once you start a pattern, continue the pattern throughout the piece. In other words, don't make little small dots right here and then make crosses or a different pattern right over here. Because these blossoms all come from the same tree. You want to keep them pretty consistent. Oh, this is cool. I love it. Pretty rad. And I'm going to come over here now. I just put some more paint on. Don't overblend these too. Just pop the brush on the canvas very gently. And I'm going to put a couple right here like they fell down. Oh, you're right, Cassie. What is Yoda anyways? Did you guys know that Frank Oz plays the voice of Yoda? He also plays the voice of Fozzie Bear. I bet if you asked him, he wouldn't even know. Fozzie Bear is related to Yoda. How about that? Try that on for size. Now, you don't want to overdo these, just enough. This is cool. And I want to add just a couple down here, like they fell down. Kobe Bryant. Oh, I could not believe that happened. I'm still in awe. A student came up to me and told me that, and I just couldn't wrap my head around that. Just goes to show you that we're not promised tomorrow, no matter who you are. I am very happy with this piece. It's really neat. And you guys should be too. You should be very proud of yourselves. And if yours doesn't look like mine, please don't stress, because when I see the pictures afterwards, I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. I should have done that. I'm done. I am totally done. No, I'm not done. I gotta sign my piece. What color am I going to sign with? I'll probably just sign with black. When you are done with your piece, sign it. I'm going to sign mine right now. Roll your brush out. You want to learn to start using your brush right down here. Oh. What is a Yoda species? I have no idea. But I'm going to move this down so you can see my signature. Oh, it's too late. Marie's all done. Just got to sign the date. I'm going to put that right down here. Just going to put a 20. Oh, 2020, how we will never ever forget you. You will go down in the history books. Here's my piece. For the sides, whatever color. So if you're doing this color here, you paint that right on the sides. For red rock, just get that color and just paint it right on the sides. For the clouds, wherever the clouds are at, just paint the sides, wrap it around. Okay, for the top, remember that black and white mixture we made? Just paint the top of that. And for the sides, look at this. If you painted the sides in this direction, just paint them down that direction as well so they all line up. Don't paint black or red or anything. Just paint the color as almost if it's just wrapping around the painting. All right, how'd you guys do? I'm done. Ta-da! I'm done. I'm going to drop this down a little bit. There's my finished piece. I'm going to back this up a little bit. How'd you guys do? If you guys have any questions, please send me these pictures. I like to show them off. Our Instagram is ZP Publishing. If you're on my Facebook, message them to me. If you have my phone number, text them to me. If you have an email them to me. But we want to see how you guys did. Wow, it's 8 o'clock. Have we been painting for 3 hours? Oh my gosh. Time flies when you're having fun. Did you guys have fun? If you did, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, Hernandez Designs. Tell your friends about this. I want everyone to paint along with us. We've got all of our community up here that is just looking for fun stuff to do. This is just one thing. This is one tool in your toolbox that you will use during this time. Other ones are your feet to go for walks, your imagination to go sit outside, your eyes to read a book. So I want you guys to do fun stuff. Nobody's sitting around watching Netflix all day, and nobody's just sitting around playing video games. Go out and do something. This is the time now to go out and be creative, to have some time to yourself, go out and meditate, go sit and relax. Really think about things. Kind of regroup. That's what I've been doing. I've been regrouping, sitting out in the back and just saying, okay, these are things that I should do. These are things I want to do. These are things I've always wanted to do, but I've never had time to, and now I get to do them. So one of my things that I enjoy doing is I look forward to these paint nights with you guys every week. Next week, I will announce it. It's either going to be Thursday or Friday. We will be doing a paint party that's going to be geared a little bit more towards the kids and the big kids. I'll announce that soon. You guys definitely don't want to miss that. We had a lot of fun last time. We had over 150 people painting. I also want to thank everybody who's donated or helped us out. Miss Amy and I have put together well over 200 paint kits. We started doing this on our own. I started selling some of my artwork to fund this. But with the help of a lot of people who've been reaching out and donating, again, there's no obligation. You don't have to. This is not like a money scheme where I'm trying to get you to pay me to do this. If you want to help, all the information's down there at the bottom. We appreciate all the help. We had somebody just come by and say, hey, I can only give you like $5. Hey, listen, everyone's out of work right now. I totally get it. We will always find a way to get things out to people. We don't have to have a steady income coming in. Things will happen. People always come through. Our friends always come through. We have the resources. So we just want to keep this going. I want everyone to stay busy, stay creative, and I want you guys to have fun. Okay? Yeah, gardening. Miss Amy started to garden. I've been working on my truck. I've been working around the house. I've been literally been doing things around here that I've put on hold for a long time. Things that have kept me up at night. Like, I wish I could finish. I wish I had time to do this. Well, this is a time where you guys all sit back. You guys all need to reflect and really think about what's important in your life right now, okay? Which is your family. Your family is super important. The people who love you that are reaching out to you. And you know, maybe they aren't reaching out to you. Maybe you reach out to them. Maybe they're sitting around and maybe people are dealing with this differently than everybody else. So they may not be dealing with it the way you are, but everybody's going through something. So just be there for each other, okay? Let's all have fun. Remember, we're all in this together. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream now. Thank you guys so much for painting along with me. Did you guys have fun? Yes, you did. If you did, tell your friends, share it, subscribe to my channel. I'll start doing some drawing lessons for the kiddos. I know I've been saying that for the last couple weeks, but I'm glad I haven't, because a lot of teachers have reached out to me and told me that they need to get their kids up to gear before we start doing the fun stuff, before they bring in a Mr. Chris or Mr. Hernandez to bring in some fun Fridays again for drawing lessons. So subscribe to my channel, Hernandez Designs. Go to our Instagram and follow us at ZP Publishing. And keep up with all of our book work. Comic-Con was canceled this year. We're not going to be at Comic-Con this year. That'll give us a little bit of a break to work on some other stuff. We are working on a third book, Jack and the Alien Attack. If you want to know about that, it's at www.zombieplaygroundpublishing.com. We have our books still available if you guys want those. It's all good. But just keep up with our progress. We have a huge following up here of community members and friends, and we appreciate that. So love you guys. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Please look out for the next painting next week sometime. It'll be a Thursday or a Friday. Okay? So send me your pieces. Did you guys have fun? Let me know. Put them in the comments. Give me a thumbs up on this whole thing. And go rinse your brushes out. Please rinse your brushes out. If you need more supplies, let us know. We are here for you guys. We will totally hook you guys up, okay? Love you guys. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you on the flip side.